looks like Amin is he's out sick today, not feeling well. So, Ahmet, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Yes, Daddy. So today John sent me a Slack message regarding notification. It should silence the other notification. So I have completed this task and created pull request. Jerry also approved it. It's in QA. So Jerry, that is correct now? Like, have you reviewed it?
Yes, QA.
I tested it, yeah. So what is it doing? It's sending the first message with songs, and second after that it will not. There will no any. It will silent message, silent notification. Okay. Then after I continue working on I have written 5 more test cases today, and yeah, that's it from the side. Anything want to add to me?
Don, is there anything else you want to assign to Ahmet?
Not at the moment. Let's continue.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Jerry.
Howdy. Yeah, a lot of stuff with the Biz Portal. We took the new reward store, put it live yesterday. Looks like Ayad's working on fixing a lot of those things. I saw your message. I'll keep an eye on that when you send the screen recording in case he needs to be poked on it. But everything's been good with that so far. For the admin portal, just kind of cleaning up a lot of the code because, yeah, I will admit there was some rush in the initial implementation, and we were, and there were some changes I did yesterday trying to clean up the code and broke a couple things, but it looks like those were only out for maybe an hour or so. But got that cleaned up, working on getting some more emails sent out, like based on events and stuff. Let's see. Also, last night I put into QA a suggestion from John last night. So, and whenever you onboard, if you're a returning user and you don't have any groups, we'll add the new group logic as if you are a new user with like the dummy groups and the, dummy groups, not like the what's streaming chat, the 916 if you're in it, if you're not in it, and the Sircles buddy DM. So added that logic so the returning users would get chats. And I have another PR that's up for Ismail and Amin to review. Not as important as the one I had yesterday. We still need to kind of talk over that. I know Amin's out today, so maybe that has to wait if I want to check this. Other one's lower priority, but I'm adding authentication to the web views. This is something that Maro and Ayad asked about, just proper authentication instead of just passing an encrypted user, not necessarily encrypted, but a hashed base64 hashed user key and URL. We're going to be passing a legitimate token that we're getting from the backend. Now that we're properly authenticating with the backend in the app, I can get a token that we can pass forth to these web views in order to authenticate with those properly. No, I said a lot, but the remainder of my day is going to be still continuing to clean up that business admin portal. I'll probably have to work on some admin, like super admin pages for like the queue for adding users that are pending verification, and maybe we'll have to add a page for failed transactions. Nothing we're going to need to do immediately soon because we have 6 and 12 month plans, but whenever they come to renew and if their credit card payment fails, they'll have it show up in that queue and maybe it'll send them an email. Chantel's working on the email. That way we can make sure we get renewals when time comes around. Also, I mentioned it Tuesday, but I'm going to need to head out in about 30 minutes to actually go get the new tires for my car since they didn't have it in stock when I went Tuesday, but I'll have my phone on me. I'll be in the call if it's still going on, but I'll just be at the auto shop.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. Anything else?
Yeah, I got Ad and Mauro on this call with us this morning too, because we're running into, I think, some potential issues as a result of the web browser being integrated into the app. Some things that I think were there even in the previous version, but we need to find solutions to these problems. Like, for example, that customer with the pop socket issue that you're having, Danny.
Yeah.
I think that might be as a result of, we pushed code changes to the site last night, and the user is it's cached, like the old code is cached on their device. And normally on a phone browser, you can refresh the page, or you can, do a force refresh. There's things you can do to get the JavaScript to update, but none of those features are there because we're inside of our app. So I wanted to get everybody to start brainstorming solutions to not only that problem, but other ones that we're having with limitations of our browsers being embedded in the app. Other functions don't work either. Like, another really good one is if you tap in a field that has your first name, last name, like when we were doing all of our testing on the reward store inside of an actual browser on a phone, iOS and Android would both identify that those are first and last name fields. The address was an address field, and you could sort of just auto-populate stuff. None of that works now that it's behind the app. So I don't know if I just don't know enough about how apps work, but that's why I wanted us all to chat together and see if there's some solution here. If there's maybe something that we're not passing to the website, if there's a permission, I don't know, maybe if this is Ishmael's wheelhouse or, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we can definitely look into that, but if it gets like really complex and it's like just for a couple of websites, we can just link it where if they click the button, it would open Safari automatically, and they can just go back to the app by clicking the back to Sircles app at the top. That's like if it gets super complex and we're having like a lot of problems of it not behaving the same as a web browser.
Yeah, I know we don't want the user to leave the app. That's definitely the goal, is to keep them in the app as much as we can. So I'd rather try to find a solution, but like the problems that we're facing right now are not detrimental. Other than this customer who can't claim a pop socket, we still don't really have a clear answer as to why. I think Danny's working on getting more information. But if we get to that point, maybe we can talk about that as an alternative. But for now, I'd really like to try to discover a proper way to do this, because we might want to do additional web integrations later. I mean, just another good example is businesses being able to manage their business from within the app is a pretty important part of the experience. And we're using relatively rudimentary functions right now in the business administrative portal, but I think that there could be a lot more creative functions that we add down the road, and things that might require JavaScript refreshes and CSS to be properly updated, general web functions, but not with the limitations that we're experiencing by it being embedded. And the only thing that makes me want to really figure this out is for a very long time, many apps, and even still now, they just provide you a window into a web portal. And in fact, a ton of banking applications work exactly that way. So I know that there is a solution. I think we need to spend the time to figure it out.
Banking apps, Ismail, that's up your wheelhouse.
What is it?
Yeah.
Ismail,
No, he's saying that because I used to work at a bank before. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think. So I remember. So with at least when I was working, we had a lot of React, or we had a lot of native code. So like when I actually started working, they already had a native app, and they were kind of just implementing certain features into React Native. But a lot of these banking apps they're actually built off of web pages. Like, for example, they would have Ionic with Angular for the web, and that's how they would build their websites. So Angular, it's like React it's a different framework. And instead of building the app with native code, the whole app is actually web-based, or a good chunk of it. So what that means is when you go log in and go use a lot of these features, they're actually running on Angular, and Ionic is just like a framework that basically has or it does a lot of the heavy lifting where it makes components look like they're mobile components, like a back button, a list, all that stuff. But in reality, the whole app is actually a web-based app. So maybe that would give them a lot more flexibility because the whole thing is built off of Angular. So you can think of...
Well, that would require... It sounds like that's a complete rebuild of an entire store.
Well, I'm not telling you we're going to do that. We're for sure not going to do that. Yeah. I'm just telling you how they have
how we're done there.
Flexibilities. I'm not saying that's for all apps. Like maybe Chase doesn't do that. I think Chase will maybe uses native apps where BMO does that. And you can think of this as also, you can like build it in React, not even React Native. You can build it in React, and Ionic is now compatible with React from like 2 years ago or something like that. Where I can build right now a whole full-on mobile application, not a website, an application with React, not React Native and Ionic. So that being said, we use web views in React Native. We don't have, and WebView is basically a library that's provided to us from React Native. I think I'm not sure if it was a third party, then they made it a React or the other way around. Anyways, but it is a library that we use, so we are limited to what that library provides for us. So what that means is we have to see what's not working, why it's not working, and if there's a workaround in that library, basically.
Okay. Where should we begin with that?
So let's begin with what's not working.
Yeah, it sounds so. I guess maybe we might need to wait. Danny, where are you at with getting information from that client?
Well, I can pull a lot of information. I guess the good question would be what information is really helpful, because what I was asking her for is a screen record so I could see what's happening, but she has described it to us. And so what information would be the most helpful?
Here's a good question, because I had Mara test it and Ian also tested it, and I tested it on my Android phone and I didn't have the same issue. Did anyone else have an issue similar to her?
Yeah, what was the description of the actual problem, Danny, is that she couldn't select a state. Is that right?
She selected a state, but then hit next, and hitting next is where the next button didn't work.
Got it.
Okay.
And no, I haven't complained of this issue yet.
Okay. So I will check her profile. Maybe she has claimed that product before, and for some reason there's like something missing in the database, and because I have a check on every step that the user is taking to check eligibility for if it's allowed to claim that product, just an extra safety function. So I will check her username. And you have her username? You gave me her name.
Yeah, you want her user ID?
Yes, please. I will check in our database if she had claimed level 2 maybe before, and there's like a mismatch inside the database. Maybe that's the issue. Otherwise, it's maybe like a mobile issue, or her phone is different than Android or Apple. I don't know.
Let's see here.
So I would probably the problem is, sorry, I'm just having a little because I didn't work on these applications or these mobile views. What's the problem with the user interface? They're clicking at a next button and it's not navigating them.
Yeah, it sounds like the description is basically in the HTML side, just in the web view, they're tapping a button that doesn't have any response. And the assumption is that our initial assumption is that because everything is working fine outside of the app, that it has something to do with it being a browser in the app. We know that there are differences, even like, again, the way the keyboard loads and the responsiveness of the page is slightly different now that it's actually in the app. So we can start with this. Good thinking out on the user potentially having a problem in the back end. That's a good thing for us to check. We check her actual profile. And then another thing that he was having trouble with, and he's going to be working on this separately this morning before we do anything with the front end of the actual app, is that the Google Maps API, which when a user starts typing in their address can offer to autofill it, we integrated that into the site, but it's not working now inside of the app. It's like it's not detecting that it's there. I'm not exactly sure why yet. We're going to try to make some more changes on our end to get it to work before addressing it with you guys. But that's another one of those things where the question I had really is, do you guys know what browser we're actually using? Like if we're on an iPhone, is the browser that's actually serving the content Safari? And
well, we're using a web view. It's called a web view, but built in React Native. So let me see. If you want to just type in web view React Native, you will see. Let me see if
I think on iOS, every web view, I think every web view is Safari under the hood. I think that was some big controversy, like the web render engine in iOS. Like for every browser, it was basically Safari under the hood.
that was my assumption, is that if you're using a web view from within an app, that you're using whatever the native browser is, which is why all of our mobile testing was done with Chrome and with Safari. And so then if that is the case, and it's not some other, I don't know, a Firefox knockoff or something like that that's actually serving up the content, then that means we've tested as far as we can in the actual web view. But for whatever reason, once it's actually in the app, it doesn't load the same. There are differences. And that's what I was hoping to try to figure out, if there's like we just toggle this thing and then now you have full access to traditional web browser functionality. Obviously it's not going to be as easy as that, but that's the thing I'm hoping to look into if we can't find quick solutions to some of these other issues. Like if we identify that this user is having a problem because of her database or the database or something like that, obviously we'll just get it fixed. But if this is going to be a consistent problem, people can't hit the next button for whatever reason on certain devices, we're going to definitely need to dig into finding some solutions to make sure that the web view works the way that we expect.
She can't hit the next button?
Yeah, maybe she can press it, but nothing happens.
Danny, when was the last time she tried?
Looks like it was this morning, according to her.
This morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a feeling it has nothing to do with the web view. I've never heard that before.
Well, this is it's all kind of new. I mean, we just rebuilt that store from scratch. I mean, it could be a bug in the store,
Right.
which is what AI's hunting. And I would rather presume that that's the case because it's the only thing that's brand new.
Right.
But if we can't replicate it using her ID, like what he's doing right now is converting her ID into the view that we basically will be able to see the store from her perspective. And if we can get it to work in a web view without a problem, and she still can't get it to work, then we know it's either her phone, which seems unlikely, or it's app side.
I don't think it's outside.
So it looks like it says on iOS it uses WK Web View, which is based on Safari WebKit engine, but does not provide the full Safari browser experience. Same thing with Android. It'll be so.
Danny, do you know if she's on Android or iOS?
iOS Apple 14 Pro.
So they're using a dumbed down version of Safari to load our website.
Yeah, to be specific, it's called WK Web View.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
I mean, Slack does the same thing. Every time you open any kind of link in Slack, it opens a browser in Slack. You have to copy the link and open Safari if you want to get out of Slack. So there's just no way.
Oh, wow. Okay, so straight up, like first key difference, JavaScript runs in a restricted environment. It does allow some JavaScript execution, but advanced features are limited. God damn it. That means that like all of our JavaScript could potentially be blocked because we're in a web view.
Well, not all of it, but
I mean, anything that's advanced, which explains immediately why the Google API stopped working.
so what's special about this button? What's so advanced about it?
We just have logic in it. We could simplify the button. I mean, maybe we could change the JavaScript that's on the button to work different.
I was just able to claim this the pop socket from the browser
From that
using
user.
her user.
So that means it's not a database issue. And
Yes.
we can successfully do it on our iPhones. So it's not a user account issue and it's not a database issue. It either means that, no, it has to be the front end limitations. It has to be this JavaScript problem that I can't think, or either that or her phone, which would be weird.
Well, does the button have any kind of fancy JavaScript animation? Or...
No, it doesn't. I can remove the extra checks that I'm doing, but I don't think that's the issue.
What check?
I'm rechecking the database if she's eligible to claim that product under this level. Maybe that's the issue. I'm not sure.
Could be.
But I can remove it.
Why don't you remove it and have her test it?
Sure. Right.
I have the exact same phone as well, and it is functioning for me. So it would seem unlikely that there would be specifically with the phone. I imagine it would have to either be caching or maybe even something with her, user on our databases. The only two things I could possibly see affecting that.
Well, there's other considerations. A lot of users change their accessibility settings, which can cause all kinds of unexpected things to happen.
That's where screen recording can potentially be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. That's a good point.
Happens a lot.
Yeah.
But especially older users. So
I believe if she screen recorded, it would be better. Maybe she is just not seeing that, and she's not checking the box for the billing, maybe, and it's showing an error, and she's not scrolling down to see the error.
Oh.
So
Well,
maybe I don't know.
Can we share the screen here so I can see what we're looking at? Because what you just described, Ion, sounds very plausible.
Yeah, I agree.
The majority of time, we've done tech to you for 20 years now. The majority of time when a customer is describing a problem, they don't know what they're describing because they're not technicians. So they're describing best they can. But what you're telling me sounds like it easily happen if there's a barrier to progress, like a checkbox. It could be as simple as that.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, can you Teams me that URL that you're on so that I can do the share from my end?
Sure.
Okay.
Doesn't the box come pre-selected?
The billing matching the shipping address is currently not pre-selected. The reason for that is if their billing address is different and they just ignore this little checkbox at the bottom of the screen, their payment could fail because they didn't verify that those two were the same.
Sure. But I'm assuming since this is new, we haven't thought of all the edge cases where someone tries to progress and you need to highlight in red a field that's required or things like that. Like, is there any kind of warning, any feedback to the customer?
Let's see. So here I'm going to
when I log in here, dude, I do get that pre-selected.
That's weird.
Did you pre-select it before?
I may have done it during a previous test. So
when you reopen the page, do you? Okay, let's see it with Ian.
Oh shoot! Sorry. I gotta inspect on mobile. 1 second. Sorry.
I noticed something else too that we should maybe consider.
What's the phone again? An iPhone 14?
Yeah.
Close enough. All right.
Yeah.
Ismail, you had something you wanted to ask?
So real quick, when you hit here, go ahead, Ian.
Sorry.
Ismail had his hand up.
Oh, go ahead, Ismail.
I was gonna say, so there is some good news. It looks like we can kind of unlock or not make the web view as strict. We can there's for example a flag built in called JavaScript enabled, which we can set to true. And then you have something like DOM storage enabled and allow universal access
There we
from
go.
via URIs, stuff like that, which could, I don't know if it's going to give us the full web experience, but it might help a lot with.
It sounds like it's a big step in the right direction because a lot of the code that we're building for these pages is based on logic and JavaScript. So we're gonna rely on that.
And Wells is here. I remember Wells did a feature we were working on, which we want to like have a YouTube video play, and he wanted to run JavaScript code on the web view itself.
Yeah.
So he actually was able to run JavaScript code on the web view from our React Native app.
That's true.
So, and he had to enable that JavaScript flag.
Are we using a web view on this?
No, so what Ian is saying, they have some features that they built on a website, but because we're using a web view, JavaScript, not all the JavaScript logic is running. So I'm saying maybe if we enable that JavaScript flag, like it's called JavaScript enabled, if you set it to true, then maybe that would run some JavaScript that's been not running.
I think that's true for all the iframe embedders that are there.
Yeah, even though it's not like the JavaScript code does not live in the React Native app, it lives, on their it's like the website they built. But I think this should allow that to run. Maybe
is that an app update that we would have to push to everybody, or can that be like an OTA thing?
It can be OTA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go through this experience real quick. I think that unless anybody has any objections, I would vote highly that we enable that because we fully control everything that happens in the website of this application. So I don't see any reason why we should be limiting ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a reason why it's not set to true by default. There probably is going to be like maybe it's the lower, or maybe it's, you know what I mean? Like there has to be some kind of catch. That's why it's not enabled by default, or else why would they not? So let me just read more on it. And
security. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Yeah.
But you can whitelist domains that are you can whitelist certain domains in a web view. So if you only want to whitelist, wildcard.sircles.com to enable the JavaScript, that would be a good security measure.
Right. I like that. That's smart.
That's smart.
Although that could prohibit features that load in. I don't think we have any iframes, but we do have like the Stripe connection when we load in that content. I don't know if it would have any problems.
You can add Stripe. You can just do wildcard.stripe.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
And then I sent Rayad something to do to open WeFunder in a browser rather than the web view. So I don't think we need to worry about that.
That'd be great. Okay, cool. Well, to show you guys real quick the process. So if they claim a pop socket, I don't know why this says single. Yeah, what's this here for?
So because it has a variant.
Oh, we got it. This has a variance?
Yeah.
Are you
in our database? It has variance. So
we need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that before. Okay, thanks. So if we go next here, first off, this would autofill in, and then this is the billing address. So I'll just type this in real quick. Let's see what happens if I. Spelled that wrong.
Yeah, I have another.
Actually, let's do this.
Your email's off.
All right, so let's go next. Yeah, I mean, it does give it, but it's right here, and it could be below the fold on their device. So what?
Well, you're not seeing. Where's your keyboard?
Right. I'm on a.
It's 100%. Yeah, like.
Yeah, if she scrolled down like this, she would probably see it.
Well, she would have had to see the next button, though, right? That's the problem. The next.
Oh,
button.
yeah, that's true. If she can see the next button, then her keyboard is not hiding this.
Well, from the recording, we will see maybe on. I don't know if with iOS does it show that for Android it shows the next button inside the keyboard.
Yeah, it does for mine.
So maybe she's pressing the next button inside the keyboard, not this colored next button.
Weird.
So I'm not sure, maybe. So that's the screen recording
Oh, wait, she's not on Android. She's on an iPhone.
Yes, no, I'm just, she's on iPhone?
That's what Danny said, iPhone 14?
Yeah.
Yes,
iPhone
but
14.
I'm just saying with Android, it allows me to press next using the keyboard. I don't know with iOS, what does it do?
I had the same functionality on my iPhone.
Well, what does the button say on your iPhone, Jeff?
It says next. It looks like it's the same button. It's just like on the keyboard.
Well, and what? Wait a minute. Do you mean it's like a blue one? A blue button?
Let me look at that one more time to make sure.
There's no way it's this button. Because I've seen done, I've seen search,
return.
Like, there's a few different iPhone keyboards. I'm trying to think if I've seen next as one of the choices.
Well, I'm not sure if it's next.
You know what? It's not on the keyboard. It just looked like it was. It looks like it gets bumped up though. So even if I don't have all the billing selected, I can still see it. So it's kind of locked on the bottom of the screen.
Now, okay, I just did a test. If you click next and the billing information isn't selected, what happens is the action of the page is that it immediately pops the page all the way up and shows you this red. So even when your keyboard is visible, it still very clearly gives you the billing address required. Like it pops it into view. So that it's not saying that's not what's happening. It could be, but it does pop that into view, and it is really obvious that it's not filled out.
Yeah.
You guys can replicate this actually on your phone right now. If you haven't claimed anything up like if you go to any voucher that you haven't claimed yet, like something that you just have to, it's a product like a Happiest Hour shots or the pop socket or the shirts, any of those things that we would ship you, and hit the claim button, you can run through the process and see what we mean.
Yeah, okay, I'm doing that. So which next button doesn't work? There's one before the screen.
So you're, it's just right after claim. Sorry.
There's
this
that.
one.
So
I think
you know it's not that one.
Annie, did she say it was after she typed in her state? She put in her state.
Yeah,
right?
she said after she put in the state.
Yeah, so we know that it's on this screen then. Well, at least we think.
Yeah, so when I pull up the keyboard, it covers the next button and a bunch of fields down there. I have no way to dismiss the keyboard without hitting done, which, not everyone realizes that. Let's see.
Is there a way for me to dismiss the keyboard? Like, do I need to add a button or something?
Perhaps, ideally, if we swipe down.
That's what the done button is for. But yeah, if it's a swipe down, that has to be done front end on the app side, I think, because it's controlling this.
I have a feeling she just doesn't have a field filled out. Like if you scroll down a tiny bit, Ian.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. See how billing zip code is hidden?
Yeah, so it's beneath. Yeah.
Yeah. So all those could be filled out. You could be hitting next and thinking, well, why isn't it going?
Oh, it's yeah. I see what you're saying.
What was the report she was saying about the zip code, or what was her?
Well, her description is apparently if you click this next button, nothing is happening. And to your point, like if, for example, let's say it's just not scrolling any farther than right here, and she has all of this stuff filled in, but billing zip code is the one that's throwing the alert. If I hit next now, it probably won't pop up any higher on mobile. Like that could be the last field she didn't fill out. So maybe we need we could solve this by a suite AOD, which is just, I don't know how easy that is, but it would definitely make it very clear and pop up in front of anything that's there. Like you didn't complete filling out the billing information.
I'm getting some strange behavior here. I'm having trouble scrolling the window, and when I do scroll it, the cursor leaves the input field, but like floats in no man's land.
I think we need to get that JavaScript thing turned on and then do some more testing, because it's like the problems that we're facing, even something as rudimentary as clicking in a first name field and having it recognize that it's a first name field.
Does
It's really,
this have to be JavaScript? What's wrong with HTML?
I can't answer that. I mean, as far as I know, we would need the functions of JavaScript to make this work.
Oh, yeah?
Well, in JavaScript, we're just checking if the value is not set or there's no value in there. That's why we're using JavaScript.
Well, we're using it throughout the entire page, though. We're using
Correct.
it
Yes.
more than one.
Yeah. For other functionality, definitely. But I'm just saying for this form, that's
this
where
form-
we're using JavaScript.
This form is probably the most basic form you could make for any kind of transaction, right? Like, I mean, it's been done millions of times for decades.
Yes.
Does Stripe not have a hosted form for this?
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask. What's the answer to that?
For Stripe?
Yeah, doesn't Stripe provide like a
Well,
template?
we're not using Stripe for this one.
Well, I guess the question is there?
Can be.
Well, we're not using Stripe for every single product. Some products we don't like. For PopSockets, we're not charging anything for us to use Stripe.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah. Why is there even a billing address?
I can remove it.
Well, I mean, it should be a shipping address, right?
Yes, I'm just using the same form for all the products.
But if we're using the same form, then why don't we use the Stripe components?
The Stripe is only for credit card. We're not using it to fill out forms.
Ian, maybe you can help me answer that.
Yeah, I mean, he's answering it. Yeah, there's places we don't use Stripe at all. So you're asking to insert Stripe in places we don't run a transaction.
Gary, you kind of know where I'm going with this, right? Can you explain what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I think so. Like when necessary, do we have the Stripe controls?
Yeah, the problem is that half the time Stripe will not be an option because we're not collecting a payment method using Stripe. You can't use their form to collect payment information or shipping information if it doesn't then proceed to an actual payment. So using that, which
more generic library that doesn't do anything fancy, because again, this has probably been done millions of times over decades, literally millions of times. We're not the first ones. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Why are we doing something that's not totally industry standard?
I don't think we are doing anything that is not standard. It is an incredibly simple form. We're limited, I think, because of some of the ways that we're loading the content in the front end through the app. Again, if you load this on a web browser, it's fine. And we already identified that there was a way to enable additional JavaScript in the app. So why not just first turn that on and then not have to force ourselves to rebuild anything if that can work?
I'm not getting the answer I'm looking for. I'm not asking the question the right way.
Well, just one thing with the Stripe forms. I mean, that's what we're using when claiming a business now. Like those are Stripe forms and Stripe's components.
That's because you go through their process to eventually type in billing information.
Yeah. So are we just talking about the race scenario for like the pop sockets and the ones that are free?
Yeah. Ones that are free, but also ones that are like we can't do it on this user's account, but like if you go to the happiest hour, that's one where you pay for shipping. The pop socket is a unique one where there is no Stripe form necessary at all here. Or even possible to use because there's nothing that collects user payment information for it to be submitted back to us. So this form is as basic as a form would get. We're just collecting the very basic information and passing it back to our database to know who we're shipping it to.
Right. And that
actually, you know what? That said, though, that brings up a really good point. Why do we need a billing checkbox at all for a product that we charge nothing for?
Is that
simplify
confused with shipping? Is that
Yes, I'll just remove the billing option from that one.
Yeah, we can remove it from that one. Now, once you get into, let's say, sorry, I don't know why that zoomed in.
there's problems with this screen in general. Like just scrolling it is, you can tell it's problematic.
Can you share your screen to show what you mean by that?
You have to, yeah. I mean, you might see a little bit, but you just scroll it yourself. You have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Scroll it up and down rapidly. And put a cursor in a field.
You're just talking about the redemption screen. Sorry, I thought you meant the main.
The screen you were on?
Yeah. Okay, I'm on my phone because the share that you're seeing is not from my phone; it's from a web browser.
Yeah, and that's not a real world test, is it?
Right. I'm on my phone, and I'm scrolling up and down. Okay, put my cursor in the first name field, and I scroll down, and it's working. Scroll all the way down to the bottom to the billing zip code. I'm not seeing.
I will share my screen.
Failure.
I don't want to take too much more time on this, but let's get this out of the way, and then I'm confident you guys will solve this. This has been done millions of times, but let me share my screen one sec.
Oh, sorry, I'll stop sharing.
So I have the field selected. I just tried to swipe. I had no reaction. I'm going to try and swipe again. No reaction. Nothing is moving for me. Up worked. Now the last name thing disappeared. If now scrolling down didn't do anything. If I scroll up and down, the cursor's gone. I can get the cursor to show up in the top, like outside of this field. There, see, now it's completely out of the field. You see that? So there's just a lot of jank here that I'm not sure what. Like now there's an empty field below first name. What's that? What's this field? There's this page needs a lot of help. So
yeah, if you load this in a native browser on your phone, like if you take that URL, like a normal URL, and open it in Safari, I'm not experiencing the problems that you're showing, and I'm having a hard time repeating exactly what you're doing right now. I'm in the reward store in the actual app.
My thumb is in the middle of the screen, and I'm moving it up and down, and nothing is moving. Now it did.
It's so weird. I can't repeat that.
I'll try to simplify the form to just make it raw HTML and see if that will help inside the.
Now look, where's the cursor now? What's happening here?
I don't know.
It's when you say the crosshair, is it the blinking sign that you're looking for?
Yeah, the cursor, the blue flashing.
You can't see on your screen because it's all the way at the top.
Well, no, I see the cursor.
Blinking on the first name. Yes.
Yeah, it's like floating in limbo in like no man's land. So there's nothing there. And then it just jumped down. I don't know if you saw that through the stream. But yeah, see how it's like.
Yeah, we can see that.
Yeah, the thing is that this sucks because when we load these in the native browser, it works great. Okay.
About that, I was thinking, maybe do you guys want me to create a dummy app that is a React Native dummy app that you guys can run on your machines for testing purposes, or is that too much?
Potentially, I think, two things. One, AI's going to work on simplifying the form. Two, how complicated is it for us to enable that switch to allow JavaScript to run without being neutered?
Back in Perstat, you guys are build 2.2.
I'm not sure.
So, yeah.
We're doing all of our testing or I'm doing all my testing.
Oh, you guys have Testify, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, then just for like testing purposes, I can just push it to like one of the test flight versions. We can like agree on one. so that if in case there's any problems or risks, we don't want to introduce that to the public.
Yeah.
So we can run it. We'll choose a test flight build. I'll enable the JavaScript official OTA build. It means you just have to close the app and open it like once or twice, and you would have JavaScript enabled.
Okay, cool.
How come when I tapped on this check mark, it turned into a modal?
Turned into a modal?
Yeah, see how it's a modal now? A drawer?
No, I don't know what you mean.
Well,
Sorry.
it was full screen. Now it is not.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh, it's supposed to be a drawer the
It's-
entire time.
Well,
It is a drawer entire time, but it's just taking more height.
Oh, that's right.
You
Yeah,
have
you
more inputs.
you reduce the height of the entire thing.
yeah, I
So-
think that's also a point of failure. I don't. If I had another camera over my shoulder right now, you could see that when I put my thumb on the screen and move it, more than 50% of the time. Right now, I'm swiping down, 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 down. Nothing happening. Up. Now it works. Now, yep.
Yeah, because you're at the maximum height of the
I
field.
wasn't. So now I'm trying to go up and down. It's not working. So I think this
Yeah, I'll have to
modal
look at it with you.
situation is trouble. Like, it's not behaving like a drawer. Anyway, like it's just, even if it worked perfectly, it's still kind of weird. Like, why is it sometimes a drawer and sometimes not? You know?
The thing that's definitely not right is the top got cut off. It shouldn't go that high up. It's a drawer the entire time. You're just seeing the top of the drawer when there's not so many fields that are visible because you hid them when you click the billing address matching the shipping address field.
Yeah. I think we need a new approach to this. I want to let you guys start over on it.
First of all, so 2.0.1, 2.2.1, I should say, 0.01, is not in the App Store. That's the latest one in test flight. I'm going to enable JavaScript on that one. And John and Ian, you guys can both test it and see if it's behaving any better.
Yeah, it's 2201.
It's the latest build on test flight, basically. There's going to be 2.2.01.
And it's going to be an OTA, so if I install it right now, it'll be enabled as soon as you trigger
Well,
it.
I still have to push it. So
Okay.
the changes were going to be like ready in like 15, 20 minutes or so.
Okay. So I'll wait.
But yeah, and what was I going to say? It's QA build. That's not a problem, is it?
I don't know.
It shouldn't be, right? Jerry, did right? QA pod shouldn't matter.
They're still both going to point to production, so yeah, it's fine. Like the store, the store award store production, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So let me do that, and I'll ping you in on Slack when it's up.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. We don't need this. That doesn't do us any good, and it's in the way.
You see that ad?
Yes, I do.
It's effectively like the business name.
Yeah, it's like not even really in a good spot here. Touch on the line. But in general, I'm really concerned just in general, like the whole approach to this screen is not very cooperative. The way, like if you scroll up and down a little bit, like it will feel frozen to you. You know, it's not like, yeah, you can, it doesn't matter if you can get it to work and it's fine for you. What are the customers going to experience? Customers don't understand how websites work and web views and some keyboards, sometimes some of the behavior that goes along with dismissing keyboards. Like right now, it feels really janky. And
If you go back out of this, back out of this product that you're on, just hit the back button on the bottom left. Oh, I'm sorry. And go to the reward store and go to level 5. And then scroll over to those and then hit claim. And then claim free. And then, white is fine. Hit next. Just confirm, is there anything? Oh, yeah, okay. First off, oh no, that's circle swag. That's still supposed to be, that's still right. Is this one acting the exact same for you?
Yeah.
And then, so, go ahead.
Well, and sorry, it is loading. I'm actually looking at it. It's loading completely different for you and I. Like when I can't get it to fill the screen the way that you did.
Right.
I don't know why it's doing that.
Just like I'm on a Pro Max. It's just a different size phone.
You do have a slightly bigger screen than I do.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. All phones are going to be different. So we should stick with a design that is ubiquitous.
Yeah.
This situation here where it becomes a modal like this.
Well, so like that size that you're seeing. Sorry, if you check the billing, that's the size it's supposed to be at all times, and then you can scroll down, and that's what I'm seeing. I can't even replicate. So we'll have to do some testing with that to figure out how.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Up all the way to the top.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Before we move on here, John, can you go back one more time to the store to the selection screen of the rewards? Do any of them say buy?
Further down, you might have one, but it depends on his level. He hasn't claimed anything.
Yeah, I'd have to claim it, and then it does say buy.
Okay, I want to.
They show it. Yeah.
Let me jump in on mine real quick. I'm gonna jump in from my phone here.
So you're saying there should be a modal here, like a drawer?
Yeah, it's not staying in a drawer. I didn't realize that until I started doing a comparison side by side with you just now. And the experience is definitely better as long as it stays a drawer because it's really obvious.
Right. It would make more sense if it was always.
Yeah, and that's the intended design.
Mm-hmm. But aren't there standard like HTML forms we can use for name, address, things like that? Like
I don't think. Hey, did you like build that?
We're not using anything special for forms. They are HTML. We're just doing multiple checks for it.
Why am I
and fix the height? Yes.
So like, if I scroll up like this, right, and it'll kind of like bounce back down. Should I be able to scroll up again at all, or do I, because like the user, it feels like I should still be able to scroll. It like loses its elasticity, and now if I were to take my thumb and scroll up and down in one motion, I get nothing, which is weird.
Yeah,
like,
and obviously something is broken beyond. I mean, it makes sense why you're not able to move it because that card that you're looking at, which is a drawer from the bottom, is way taller than it should be. You can't even see the top of it. It's supposed to cut off, and then the
reason why I wasn't able to, because do you see the level up rewards? Because I'm using the browser, I don't have this, so maybe that's why. Because I fixed it perfectly so to always show the top of the drawer. Because I didn't account for the level rewards that we have up there, which is from the Sircles app, it's not showing, but it's hiding behind it. It's still a drawer, but it's just pushing the limit to the top.
Right.
But you should be able to still see the X if the level rewards is not showing. Do you see the X and the pop socket?
Yeah, I see.
Yes.
So, right.
So I'll just adjust it to be a little bit. Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Danny.
And try to fix that.
Is anyone having the production app load really slow right now, real quick? I do have something I want to share, but I was having trouble loading chats, and it's back now, but it was like... Okay, never mind. We can move on from that. I do want to share my screen, though, when you're ready, John.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well... So let me ask you though, would you feel that like no matter where this form is, like see how I can freely move it right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. shouldn't that be the case?
At all
Like
times.
no matter what, like even though,
100%. Yeah, absolutely.
right? So even though I'm at the top, okay, if I go up first, which I just did, I'm doing now, and go down, it should move, and it's not moving.
Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, this is the thing that makes me wonder if this is. I don't know if maybe you happen to look. Did you open the reward store yesterday at all on your phone?
Yeah.
So I wonder if we are somehow caching JavaScript and it's not getting updated, because Todd made changes last night. And that's part of where I think getting this testing done in the version that Ishmael just made of it or is going to make available for us is going to help a lot. Because when we make JavaScript changes or any kind of a code change, we want to make sure it can actually properly update on the user's end. I can't get it to do what yours is doing. Like, I cannot make mine load that way. So I'm not saying nothing is wrong. Obviously something is up. I'm just hoping that if we can get that test build on your phone and then see if it loads differently, that would be very revealing for us. It would mean that the limitations occurring in the web view are causing problems.
Do you have the header, the level up rewards header?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, it's just yours isn't cutting off the top of the drawer.
Nope. My drawer doesn't even go up to the top of the screen. I can still see the curved edges of it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's just every phone's going to be different, you know. So,
the first big surprise that we had was I was like, well, the keyboard is working great, and then as soon as we put it in the app, the keyboard responsiveness sucked. Like, it was immediately bad because the app isn't passing back keyboard position to the browser side, whereas if you're in a native browser, that information gets passed back to the browser, and then it adjusts the screen accordingly.
Yeah, and let's see how like the cursor gets in no man's land, number one.
Yeah, that's super weird.
And also, I can't get, like, there's obviously stuff down here.
Well, yeah, there's certainly something happening on.
I mean, it's just, I wouldn't even need a user to tell me that they're having a problem. Like,
well, by the way,
I can tell you right now, users are going to have problems.
If you actually fill that out, like if you tab down from, like click on zip code, for example. Mm-hmm. Now, so you can continue your way down. There is actually access to it, but I agree, it's not good. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, like, that experience that you're having, I'm not having that. I can scroll all the way up and down to the bottom, no problem. I just don't know why the card is so tall for you.
So you can reveal these.
I can reveal billing zip code, no problem.
At the point, I can't go up or down. Oh, now I can.
Okay. Sorry, John. What's your phone? So just so I can test using it.
Ian will send you my number.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, wait, your phone? Is that what you said?
Like just the size of the screen of the phone. Just
iPhone. It's a 16 Pro Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
I have to remember I told you guys about that client yesterday. He's waiting for my call in just a couple minutes. So I'm going to hop off. We have stuff we can do though. So.
Right now, with this keyboard up, I cannot scroll down. I am
honestly, John, I don't even think continuing to do testing on your device is worth any of our time right now, because there's clearly something broken, and I think it's breaking everything that you're experiencing.
Yeah. So I am actually able to replicate, John, what you're talking about, and I'm almost positive that it is because of the height of that. Like when you click in and your keyboard pops up, you are effectively scrolled all the way down right now. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't look like it. You can't even see the other ones. But I'm able to replicate getting the weird cursor up there. It definitely feels different when it's not taking up the whole screen. So I think if we can figure out what's up with that, it should resolve a lot of this really weird, clunky feeling you're getting.
Can you get the drawer to look the same as his, where you can't see the top of the drawer anymore?
Well, only when I have the keyboard open on my device. But if I mess with the responsiveness on the web view to get close to the height of the 16, yeah, I'm kind of able to see what he's running into.
And only in the app. You're not.
I can't replicate exactly what he has because my height on my phone is not the same, and it's not opening all the way. Okay. But I'm able to replicate like the weird cursor that's up in. Kind of on the screen, but not actually on an input. And
you're actually in the app, right? You're not just in Safari natively on your phone. Yeah,
correct.
Okay, well, when Ishmael gets that out, we're going to test in there too, because if all of this just works when we have all of our JavaScript functions enabled, that could potentially be a fix. But we'll work on two fronts. So when that's pushed live, we'll do testing there, and AOD's going to continue to work on simplifying the form.
Okay. Danny, did you want to share something before they go? You said you want to share your screen.
There you go. He's got it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So mine are all claimed here, but the reason I was asking if you could hit buy is because when I click buy, then I hit the pop socket here, it takes me here.
Correct. Yeah, we're trying to figure out how to get it to leave the actual app.
On Android, it's leaving the app, and Jerry just updated me of how can I make it also leave the app with iOS. I will push that
only
change
has
and
to
see
go
if
to
that's going to fix
WeFire
it.
though. It doesn't go to the store.
You guys pushed.
Oh, so you need to build a different one for me to be able to redirect outside of the store?
We'd have to update that app side to handle that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not ideal. We probably shouldn't have pushed this live just yet. This is not a good look. This needs to get fixed right away.
I can't even reproduce what I was seeing before now, but what happened the very first time I clicked it, and maybe it did have something cached, is I clicked buy, and it said 2 in my cart here. See how it says 0 right now?
Yeah, what you're testing is the actual store at that point.
Okay. Yeah, it said 2, and then
Yeah, this is not the reward store at this point.
Do we want to have a separate store? Like, why not still transact in the reward store? What's the problem with that?
We would have to. It would just be a bigger build. We would have to build in new products, and it's kind of like rebuilding the live store basically inside of the reward store.
Okay, but the prior one we would transact within the reward store, right?
No, not for things that you had to pay for that were like if you weren't eligible to get a sweatsuit, it would just bounce you out to the actual store in Safari, which is actually what it does on Android right now. It's just iOS that's not working correctly.
Okay. My thumb is actually on the top of the phone here.
Yeah, at this point, Danny, you're testing a story you shouldn't be able to even load in iOS or in our app.
Okay.
And you're also testing the web store, not the reward store, which we just changed. This store's been the same since it was built by Robinson.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I had.
Well, what were you going to say, Jeff?
I was just going to say the old reward store did have, you were able to purchase stuff through the reward store. In case there's any confusion on that.
You could buy like Happiest Hour from the reward store?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing was handled there. I'm not opposed to doing it.
That's right. We discussed the change. I forgot we changed that.
But now you're looking at an integration, and I'm just wondering if you're making it more difficult on yourself.
Well, we just need a tag that bounces them out to the store correctly when they hit that buy button. It's a pretty easy change.
Well, they're so different. I mean,
the stores?
Yeah. I
mean, totally.
Why try and get a square peg through a round hole when we can just keep it all self-contained and and it can be maintained separately too? That probably helps for future maintenance. Like you have a problem with one or the other, not now both. I don't like the idea conceptually of trying to merge these two things that are different. I don't know all of the things I don't know. I just feel like we're asking for trouble.
We're asking for trouble by having them bounce to the web store?
Yeah. Versus keeping the transaction end to end, the whole experience end to end in the reward store. Why not?
There was kind of two things. It allowed us to build it faster because then we didn't need to rebuild other product purchases inside of the reward store. That was a small benefit. The other one is that they can see other products. You can add multiple things to your cart currently if you go to the actual web store. Yeah. The reward store's whole design, without changing the flow, the reward store's entire design is based off of choosing a specific product and purchasing it. But if you wanted to buy more Happiest Hour in the reward store, we'd have to build out I guess like a whole cart system, which doesn't exist right now, so that you could buy more than one. Like if you wanted 2 happiest hours, you couldn't do that. And that was the case in the previous reward store too.
Right.
So that was the argument for, let's just get them to the proper store. They could do their purchase, and I still like that. I mean, I have no problem with both. We debated on what the best option was. I just like the idea that they could buy more stuff.
As long as it's not adding layers of confusion. So like now I'm claiming a reward, and now I'm in a store where I can buy stuff. I don't know. It's just I'd have to see it.
I think Chantel even pointed out something really clear. Like if you click on buy for happiest hour, because you've already claimed it, so now you have a buy button instead of a claim button, it should take you to that exact product. But we don't have product pages in the store. It's just it's a single page store. The entire design was built like that. So that's like
you're talking about this not the reward store, but the regular store.
Yeah, the proper store, the actual web store that we're
There's
using.
no product page.
Correct. There's just like product views. So
how do you buy a product if there's no product?
You can click on it, add it to the cart, but it opens it up like a modal. Basically, that's kind of the easy way to say it. It opens up in a modal instead of a new URL. Mm-hmm. So that's another. We can make it work. We just haven't figured that solution out yet. We're trying to make sure that all of the reward store is obviously good first. But I think we have a good. As far as I can tell, the only thing that we need to fix is that checkout process, unless you saw other issues.
Yeah, we have a long way to go.
Really?
Like what? For JavaScript, you guys want to test that?
Some of it is just cosmetic. A lot of it is the functionality experience of it.
Can you give me any examples of besides?
Yeah, I mean, I gave you a few. Like the scrolling is a problem.
Right. That's a check.
Is a problem.
Yeah, all checked out.
The header is a problem.
So we're only talking about the checkout process.
That's billing / shipping.
Okay.
There's a lot. And then there's if I start using it after you fix those things, I'll find 10 more things that are going to be problems. It just needs a lot of testing, and you guys have a React Native app right now called Sircles, and you have the web view. You can make your updates in real time. It's been offered to do a playground sandbox kind of thing, but I don't think you need it because we have the app. So
yeah, encourage you. Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. So I encourage you though to use your phone. The other day, Ian, you had said something about having Jerry just kind of give Todd access to tech to you, just bypass everything. And remember, I'm like, whoa, this is a really good opportunity to test in the real world. When you dropped off that call, I started harping on these guys, and I want to reiterate to you too, this is why we take every opportunity we can to do a real world test, because you would not believe how many problems we had that afternoon. This was a couple days ago. It was problem after problem after problem stacked on that we would have never known if we just bypassed all of it and shortcutted Todd to an admin or to the owner of the page. And we're still sorting out those problems. And this is, again, another example where don't trust your emulator, don't trust your computer, get it on a phone, and do the process as a customer would. Put it in front of a customer. Go to one of our employees and say, hey, claim this reward. And you'll see him do something that is totally unexpected. Why are you doing that? And you'd be like, I don't know, that's what I thought I was supposed to do. And you wouldn't know it because you made it, you designed it, so you know how it's supposed to work. And then all of a sudden it reveals whoa, this is how people are going to use it? Oh, okay,
yeah,
that's not at all.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
There's going to be a lot of that. And so that's where...
And that's why I asked everybody to do testing yesterday, because we won't lie.
Not even us. We're buried. I've got other fish to fry right now with some of our new user experience is not cooperating the way I want it to, and I want to test that. Basically exactly what I just said for the store, but I want to do this with our Friend Connect and our first favorite stuff. But I need you guys to do the same for your domain, and do it with some of the staff, so you're getting a sterile environment and a totally novice approach, your average customer, and you'll see a lot. And any friction, any time where if they look up and they're like, what am I supposed to do now? That's a problem, and be like, well, I guess I need to make sure it's obvious what you're supposed to do now. So, and then everything should work. All the scrolling, keyboards, navigating, all of it should work flawlessly on physical devices.
I totally agree.
Okay, well, let me know how it goes. If you guys have to strip it down and start back over, maybe it's a good idea. I mean, I don't know what the...
Yeah, so far, everything that you mentioned that was a problem is contained in the checkout. That was that one screen. So if there's anything else in particular that was not fixed, please tell us. I continue to do testing, of course, but it's the one thing that we're going to be focusing on right now. It sounds like
test it end to end.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'll have a few of the guys here do it today. Yeah. So what and what's that?
And yeah, end to end, like all the way from
the whole flow. Yep. No problem. And then in the meantime, we'll do some testing inside of that. Since Ishmael has that version available for us now, I'll get test flight on our phones. Actually, is there a?
You don't even need test flight. It's in the App Store right now, and you guys can make live changes.
I do. I need to find out whether or not JavaScript is a problem. It's going to answer a lot of questions.
Ishmael can push it OTA.
Yeah, but I didn't want to push it to the public in case it breaks anything or does any.
Yeah. Well, you can actually push it to a single user.
An OTA update?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing it.
Well, if he already has it in test flight, I could just, or unless we're worried about other issues.
I have it in test flight. You can just look at it in test flight, and if it looks good, I can push it to the production version later.
Fair enough. Okay, let's do that.
And just to be clear, for the OTAs, even if you just download the app, you might have to close the app and open it like once or twice. So I would say open the app, log in. After you log in, close the app, open it, close it, open it, just to make to be 100% sure you have the OTA.
Got it. So it's installed and then force close it and reopen it.
Twice, yeah.
Twice. Okay, got it.
Okay, very good. I want to get to our testing. So let me know how it goes, and we got to test our stuff. That's
okay. Cool. I'm gonna stay on.
You're not alone. It's not like I'm picking on you. We have the same problems on our end.
John, you're only picking on me. You always pick on me. I'm the worst. You're the worst.
Sorry.
No, I don't feel picked on at all. We need to get this right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Totally agree. And I super appreciate having you guys available this morning to go over this too, because we were scratching our heads last night, and then like a user not being able to press the next button. Thank you, Ayad, for coming up with the thought that she might not even. There's a lot of seeing some other issue. Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities. Like one of the fields is hidden, like below the fold.
Yeah.
Things like that.
We'll keep running through it. Yeah. So I've got that version. I'm gonna stay on. David is actually kind of working with that client for me. Jeff and Ayad, you guys are welcome to drop if you want to keep on working on changes. I'll come in there in a little bit, but I'm gonna be on Standup still for a little bit here.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
So I do want to transition to what I had messaged you on Slack yesterday, Samil, about the Friend Connect. I'm not sure if you responded yet. Did you get my question about how that triggers? And if someone becomes friends before they see a Friend Connect, does it still navigate them to their new friend's profile?
Yeah, it looks like it is at the moment, so I need to edit that logic.
Okay. Well, that's a big score for session replay, because I don't know how long that might have gone unnoticed, which is weird because we test on our test phones a lot, and I've just never seen that. Or maybe I have, and no, I don't think I've. It's kind of an edge case. Not really, though. Okay, so you can handle that. Well, let's discuss it. So, because there's handling it, but there's also optimizing for user behavior. We can handle it by making it not do that, but that's not necessarily optimal. The optimal situation is that, let me just break down the exact scenario that occurred. A new user, downloaded Sircles, invited a friend during onboarding. Fantastic. Friend accepted the invite quickly. Fantastic. When the invitor, the new user, first user, sent that invite, their invitee became we call it a ghost user in their circle of trust. So it made the invitor automatically follow, because if you put someone in the circle of trust, you're following them. So now the invitor is following the ghost user who hasn't even downloaded yet. That invitee joins and automatically follows back because they were invited. Now they're friends. So we kind of missed the whole friend connect. There's a lot of good things going on there. Like, we want them to become friends, and all that happened like pretty organically, which is great. But then they didn't really know like what happened because there was no friend connect, and we kind of missed the opportunity. So like ideally, the invitor would see that their friend joined and do a friend connect and say, let's help them find their friends. But we missed that. We don't even get it.
It gets worse too, because the invitor was in the middle of a start the convo flow when it happened.
Yeah.
And then she got navigated automatically to the person she invited's page, the invitee's page.
Right. He was contemplating start the combo.
And then didn't the show me how come over the top of it?
Yeah, which that is, I already have a solution for that. If Amin was on today, we'd have it done, which is, I'm just taking that timer off of it. So it will only trigger from the third home button click.
One more thing we need to investigate. The invitor seemingly never got a notification.
Yeah, we should have had multiple notifications because the invitee joined, 1, so accepted an invite, 2, sent a message. The start the combo worked for the invitee. The invitee took the bait and sent a message to her invitor. And no notifications were sent. So I don't know how far you got into that investigation.
Well, what's really interesting about that is when you look at her amplitude events, it says that the invitor did grant notifications. So when the invitee sent her a message, she should have got one. She also should have got one when she convinced a friend to join. And then when I went into one signal to check the subscription, it showed her as subscribed to SMS, never subscribed to push on the iPhone 11 she was using.
Yeah.
Are people getting subscribed to SMS?
I don't know, and One Signal has not given us a clear answer on that when we've asked them before.
That's so weird.
I feel like, we are kind of amateurs. It's not a criticism, but when it comes to One Signal and notification and everything, like I want to become experts. And it's probably something really amateur, like because we allow this, it doesn't allow that, or like who knows what. It's probably not even something very complicated, but we just don't know. And that's why we're testing, and that's why we have these beta testers and session replay and all of it, because like we wouldn't have known this either. How would it's really hard to track down. It's like one meeting.
Yeah, one theory I have on that is that maybe she was an external user in one of the larger chats. So
no, this is a beta tester from an ad I put in LA.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, nothing like that. This is what we want. This is 2 brand new users forming a circle. It's more of a straight line, but the smallest possible circle that you can make. And most of it was working, but like a couple key failures, and then the whole thing fell apart, and they didn't even really know that they're both in the app together. So we're almost there. We're very close, but we got to iron out these wrinkles. So we need to investigate why the notifications didn't fire, like what's going on there. Why did Ismail, you're going to fix it so that it doesn't force navigate when they become friends, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Amin's going to stop that.
But the thing is about that is the force navigation, you'll still see the dog, but it'll just take them back to the screen that they were on. which also might be weird because I wouldn't know if they're friends or not unless they.
That would be weird. Okay, so I have a better solution, which goes back to the behavioral thing I mentioned, which is optimally, we still do a friend connect, just a different version of it, because we want the invitor to say, all right, let's help the invitee find their friends in circles. And there was more to it too. Like there was no suggestions of anybody they might know. And like, it seemed unlikely that, and there was people missing from some of their, like, I was like, well, where's, like Rob wasn't in there, like some of the rad audience people, like there was some missing people. I was thinking like, there's some influencers that should be on this page that you may know, and they weren't there. We have the session replay, so we'll go through it. But ideally we would still do a friend connect. So Ismail, that would solve the quirk that you're describing there, where like you would still see the beginning, transition.
Yeah, so we won't skip it. Basically, we would never skip to the user's profile. It looks like instead of skipping to user profile, we'll take them. We'll just maybe change the wording instead of saying add friends. Like, hey, it looks like your friend joined. Do you want to help them find friends or so on? So we'll use the same screen, same logic. Yeah. No skipping, so that they can go to the friend recommendation part of things.
Right. Chantel, will you pull up Figma and let's look at the design for, the add as friend part of the friend connect flow, and let's modify it to look to account for like two people becoming friends in the early stage of like onboarding, but still continue on. So when it triggers for the invitor, instead of saying add as friend, it would say accept.
No, or like continue or something, because they're already friends. So they'll just say like you're moving forward, like continue or help them, or something indicating that you're just gonna help this person. Like you're guys are already friends, which would be clear in the text, and now you're just gonna help him find more friends.
Yeah.
Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah. So not the top one, not the second one. Let's see. So not one where it's like, do you know this person? So there shouldn't be two avatars. Okay. So maybe the bottom one. So yeah.
Also, we have two flows. One is a suggested friend. One is a friend from contact. So you also might want to fix both screens.
Yeah, I think it should be this bottom one. What's the one below this?
Here's one that it says in your contacts.
Yeah. They both do, right? What's the difference between these two? They look identical. Are they the same? They're the same, right? Slightly different font color.
Yeah, it looks like this is the one we went with.
Yeah, okay. So this is probably the one we should build off of. So they become friends and onboarding. Yeah, so this would be perfect. This would have been a game changer. So it would open to this and say the friend's name, just join Circles. We could even say accepted your invite or something like that. A few different ways we can go with this. So Ismail, you're saying we just change this button basically to say something like next, and then it'll help them find their friends, right?
Yeah, the button and the text. That's it. Yeah. Like the text above it.
I don't know. We need to change the text above it because it is the person who joined Circles and is in your contacts.
Oh, it doesn't say like you add them or anything. Oh, I mean, if it doesn't,
I can't read what does it say about the champagne glasses? It's kind of blurry.
If Austin follows you back, you become friends.
Right. Yeah. So we don't even need that.
But we should also tell them that indicating like what's next, like, if it's next or continue, where are we taking them? So it should probably be a little bit descriptive in terms of like telling the user, you guys are friends, but we're doing something else here. So
Yeah.
it's like they're gonna be like, this guy's in your contacts. Continue where? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not now just continue. What am I continuing to? That's all I'm saying.
I feel like if it said accept, I mean, we want them to continue.
Yeah, I feel like we don't have to decide on this now. You guys can like brainstorm.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so leave this here, Chantel. Okay, so let's continue talking about the use case here. Danny, what kind of investigating have you done into this notification situation not working?
Just everything I described, right? Like the amplitude event is showing that the event is there, that they granted push notifications. The one signal subscription is showing that there's an SMS subscription, but not a subscription to the Apple iPhone 11.
Okay. Todd, have you, I saw that you messaged back. This is a beta tester named Eileen. Last name starts with a W.
Weingarten. And it's not spelled, it's not spelled Eileen. I looked it up in our database. It's like L-L-E-N-E.
Okay. I'd like to ask her if she's getting notifications. I think we know she's not, right, Danny? First of all, Todd, have you messaged her in the app yet?
No, not yet.
Why don't you shoot her a message and ask to welcome her and just say that we want to ask a few questions.
Yeah.
One of them, are you getting notifications?
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can check and see if it was a confirmed delivery, right?
Yeah, I don't see any push notifications under her One Signal account.
I just checked as well, and I can confirm I don't see anything from her account. But yeah, all I see is for push notifications, it says never prompted, which is weird.
All right, so it is Eileen, I-L, but it's I-L-E-E-N-E.
Never prompted? Is that what you said, Jerry?
Yep.
What you never seen that before?
Negative.
So we need to know what that means.
Yeah, and
well, they're subscribed to push. I mean, they're subscribed to SMS, which that gives some sort of indicator that that's unusual, because they wouldn't even get a token. So the back end, I have a check in place that if the token that they pass is for SMS for their player ID, I just don't save it.
Because the user sent an invite in onboarding, which of course is an SMS. Did we get permission for SMS, and that's where it started? Throwing this off?
No, that wouldn't affect SMS. Like One Signal, we just say One Signal get player ID or get subscription or whatever. Like we don't specify what channel it's for. And there is really, it goes off of the prompts for request push permissions. Like we don't ever ask for SMS from One Signal.
But we have the permission for her
somehow.
Well, I think we are asking. So, and I think it has to do. This is my guess, but I think it has to do with the fact that an SMS was sent in onboarding. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like it seems like a correlation there.
I mean, it could be a correlation. I would really love to get to the bottom of it because it bothers me how people are getting subscribed to SMS when we don't.
Well, let's
want them to be.
Do we have Danny or Todd? Do you have a phone that's not onboarded yet?
I do not. I think I have one that is not onboarded in production. It was onboarded in QA.
Okay, let's go ahead and try that one and make sure. Let's remove everything from that account, Jerry, and let's have you onboarded by somebody through onboarding through SMS.
Okay. I'm in the tire shop right now. I can't clear anything in the database.
Why is that?
I'm at the tire shop. I'm blacklisted on the Wi-Fi.
Okay, we might not need to clear anything. But yeah, Danny's trying to follow the same steps that
get the Android going.
Eileen followed. So You know, basically, like, I guess she allowed notifications.
Well, I send an invite to it.
You're going to send an invite from it,
That's right. Okay.
right? You're going to invite Todd, and we're going to see if SMS was approved. I feel it's going to be the same configuration. Like, it's going to look the same as hers, where it's like.
So, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Did this user's onboarding? I'm just trying to view the session replay. It's pretty long, but did their onboarding get interrupted? Or no? Let's see. It looks like it went fine. It was just they got followed during the they got the start to convo pretty soon. But
yeah,
let's see. Also, I didn't see the whole thing. So their onboarding never got interrupted?
No. It's at the end they got interrupted by the friend connect, but we're
right. It's after the So they got see you in Sircles, and then it goes, okay, the lobby looks good initially, and then boom,
I'll be right back.
Boom, they go to Cassie Sterling, and then they get the start to convo, share with Cassie, and they get the friends you want to see your favorites. And nothing happens there.
Quick good news. I don't think the change that Ismail made had any impact at all. So we just have to work on the website. It means that the current web view that we have is doing enough.
Yeah, John had to step away, but yeah, that's one of those fun things.
We're finally able to replicate it on another device here too consistently. We're gonna just change that checkout flow from a slider or a modal to, John was calling it a modal. I think it's a suite
to its own page.
Yeah, it's just going to be its own page. The only problem is the app doesn't pass back keyboard position, whereas browsers do. And so we're basically going to try to build the page to not require that information. But if we really have trouble with it, we're going to just look into finding out, do React Native apps have the ability to pass that information through the web view?
Do we ever save that information? Like, do we ever save it? So let me figure out the best way to explain this. You claim a reward on the store, and we're going to have your shipping. Let's see, you get a pop socket. We got your shipping information. We have that from the order. If they go back and they claim something else, is there any way we could just pre-populate?
Of course,
a lot of those fields.
We're not right now.
I'm not trying to creep on it.
No, that would not be that complicated. We would have to store those values in a place that we could call from the front end, but I don't see that being a challenge at all. But also, it would be super easy as long as our Google API worked, and there wasn't a bunch of concerns with tapping in a field and having the keyboard position create a problem.
Yeah. Trying to think what advice I can give for that, but yeah,
I think I think the new page thing could work really well.
I say let's go with that because if I recall right, last time I dealt with web views and React Native, modals and drawers they just get weird stuff.
Yeah. Our previous web store, I went back and was just looking at how that page or the HTML loads. It's almost identical, and it does the exact same thing.
Yeah. Let's try the page because
Anyway, that's. I was just going to give a quick update. They're working on that right now. Yeah, it's going to convert it to the checkout flow to a page. When you click on a product, that'll still be a card because no keyboard loads. So it's just going to as soon as you hit the claim button and a keyboard is possible to load, that's where we end up on a new page.
I see.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just going to kind of bring up some more things. So, Ismail, do we have, is 2.2, or I guess Danny, you can answer this too, is 2.2 in production in iOS and Android?
Yes.
So 2.2 is out in both?
Yeah,
When was that?
that was 2 days ago.
2 days ago? For iOS, I know Android went through first.
Yeah.
Okay. When do we want to do that kill screen? For anyone that's not on 2.2, so we can start to lock down the API. A week? Do we do it Monday?
Well, I do want to create OTAs for to fix that spelling.
Yeah.
But I mean, the good news is anybody who's newly going to be downloading the app, they won't be affected. So if they have any big groups joining, that wouldn't be a problem.
So what's the logic you're doing in that OTA, Ismail? Like, so I know we have that update is misspelled, but are you just taking if update is misspelled, like you're taking the misspelling of update, and that's going to be just spell check to update?
Yeah, on the front end, I'll just be like, oh, if it's, if button from the back end, if button content equals this, just display this.
Okay, so next time, if we need to do this, I just need to make sure I send the misspelled update. Is that right?
Yeah, you just keep everything as is, no changes on the back end.
Okay.
Or I guess you're sending that manually, so.
Yeah, so I have to remember that it's the
misspelled.
Yeah.
Or I can add, until we get all the users out of our old app. You know what I mean? And then we can start spelling it correctly. Because, I can also add logic in the OTA where if it's all like this or like this, it would work. Until we get everybody pretty much out of the old version of the app where we have 1% or less, then we won't care.
What's up, Amit?
Can I drop? Do you require from me?
Let's see. I merged your PR. Everything's good there. Anyone got questions for Amit?
Yeah, since you're not in the office and he has database access, I'd like to know if there's an account tied to this number here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm going to put it in the chat here. Amit, can you tell me if there's an account in production tied to that phone number?
Checking. One minute, Danny. I have to update my IP address. It's my Wi-Fi is started.
Okay.
Give me 1 minute, okay? Yeah, change my IP. Yes, John. I'm sorry, Danny. There is a user. That's phone
Can
number.
you, okay, can you delete it?
Okay.
What do you think, Jerry?
I think we cannot delete now. We can change the phone number there. If we have to delete all their entry.
Yeah, that might be that's just like change the phone number. That might be quicker.
Yes. It's Danny6069 user, right?
Yeah.
Let me change this phone number.
What are you going to change the number to?
Random number code I will put for this. Just some random number.
What if that matches someone's number someday?
Like so I will put 10 times 0. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 0 10 times would work. Yeah.
Okay, and then we should change the name then to the last name.
Okay. Okay. So, One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You know what? This isn't even going to be a valid test. I have this number on an Android, not an iPhone.
I would say if we change the number to all zeros, and if you're signed out the app, it should be fine. Or
yeah.
Let me think. No, you're gonna have to clear out the user GUID for that user too, because it's going to. You have to clear out the user GUID. You have to change your phone number and clear out the user GUID.
Well, the thing is, if we're trying to replicate Eileen's experience on her iPhone, it's like a totally different phone.
It's like you have an eSIM?
Well, I just have an Android, and hers is an iPhone.
We cannot. See. We cannot change phone number from here. It's computed union operator. It's a union operator.
Oh, when you're trying to change the phone number, it's make sure that you update the phone ID.
Yep, I updated the phone ID.
Okay. You could delete that phone record from the account.
Yes, one. That was the Done. That detail. What you are saying from where we need to clear that user?
User good.
User grid 1 minute. User grid voltage. I didn't see the table in what you are talking, Jerry.
Is that
Which table?
the user good? That's in users.
Oh, user view you are talking, or which one?
Yeah, user GUID. Yeah, that's the record. Yeah, it's the second column on users.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah, I didn't see you were sharing your screen, but yeah, that one.
User
The
GUID.
JA.
That's okay. User GUID is equal to null where user key is equal to 49917. I will change the last name also. Last name should be what I can put last name here and then 00.
Yeah.
Yeah. And name is equal to Danny 1 2 3 4. Let me do that. So let's see. Yeah, done. I think. Yeah, done. Okay. So you can use this phone number now.
Okay. Reproducing this thing Eileen had is going to be tough on a different device.
Why?
Well, I have an Android. You had an iPhone.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to allow notifications and you're going to invite somebody with a text message.
Yeah, it's not like a true test, but I'll do it real quick.
The only difference is that you're on an Android, but I don't think this has anything to do with what kind of phone you're on. This is basically, this is all one signal, right?
Well, we don't really know.
Well, it's not like
it's
the front end.
I'm just calling it now. Actually, let's see which number I'm going to invite because I need to have it in my contacts. Because she invited by adding to the SOT.
Mm-hmm.
So, Todd, which one of your numbers is not an account yet? Do you have one?
Has not been what?
Do you have a phone number that hasn't onboarded yet?
No, they've all been onboarded.
That's fine. Which one are you using? Todd Xfinity?
Yeah, that one and the other iOS one.
All right.
Send me one of those numbers.
Yep.
Well, yeah, they have to be non-users.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Yes.
Wait, what? That'd be non-users.
Yep.
So I need to reset my phones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one.
Sure.
Is Ishmael still here?
Yeah.
You at your desk. Ishmael, I just had a question for you.
Oh, hey, yeah, I'm here.
Hey, just a quick question. Do you know if there is a function for the WebKit to pass back an updated browser window size when the keyboard is lifted in the app?
Updated window size when the keyboard is lifted in the
we figured out like the main reason there's weirdness is because when the keyboard is open, the browser doesn't know that it's open, and so the browser window doesn't resize accordingly.
I'll have to look into it.
Okay, something new. I didn't know if that was maybe something you know off your head. We're looking into solutions without changing anything on the app but I think we can't detect that the app side keyboard is open unless it passes that value. So we're trying to figure that out still.
Yeah, I'll look into it.
Okay, cool.
Ian, whose number ends in 9466?
Yours truly.
Okay, cool.
That's my new number.
I need your code. I need the code. Log into AT&T.
You ready?
Yeah.
908-09-866.
All right.
Gary, I have a question.
What's up?
So, in this scenario where someone gets invited, they get automatically put in the circle of trust. So that means they're automatically following them. The simplest solution, maybe, and maybe potentially the best solution, is we just don't have the inviter follow the invitee, because when the invitee joins, which is going to happen often, the inviter may be still in the app, which is what happened in this case. And what we want this to happen all within the first minute.
It's just a competitive radio. You could delete it. No, it's kind of,
You need to mute.
oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, if the user is, the inviter is not following the person that they invited, and that person comes in, follows them, that's an automatic follow because they accepted the invite. The friend connect will still trigger. It'll still say add as friend for the inviter. But my question is, can we make, I don't want to necessarily across the board. Like if I add people, think about this. If I add
Did I
people,
lose you? Yep.
no, I'm thinking, I don't want to make it so that every person I add to my circle of trust, I'm not following them, but just the ghost user. Because there's the prior screen that's like your contacts already in Circles. If I follow them, well, I mean, I'm like basically, it does say follow them, doesn't it? Yeah, really, it would just be the ghost user situation. When you invite somebody and they haven't accepted yet, can we make it just in that case, even though they go into the circle of trust, that we hold off on having the inviter follow them?
Might have to take a note on that because I believe that there is some tight logic between the circle of trust and people that you follow. That it's kind of they're locked together and triggers that anyone that's in your circle of trust is somebody you follow. And like when you, for example, when you unfollow somebody, they get removed from your circle of trust if they're in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tightly coupled together. I won't say it's impossible, but I'll also say, it may be subject to its own nuances.
Yeah. Okay. The other option is we still say add as friend and just run through the friend connect either way. But I don't know what happens in that case.
Yeah. I see Tanya Aker put in the King's chat, said that she got a pop socket. I don't know if anyone talked to her.
She said it's arriving tomorrow.
Yeah.
Hopefully it is.
I don't know when she ordered it.
I saw her claim her award a few days ago.
Oh, okay. So it was before the new store.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But yeah, I don't know. It's really, it sounds like it's really for the case of onboarding, or is it just when you're inviting external users in general?
The one case I'm solving for is when you invite somebody in onboarding and they accept it, and now you're both friends before you even get a friend connect. And the only reason that happens is because when you invite someone, they go in your circle of trust, and that makes you automatically follow them at that point, which we kind of want.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing because whenever we update, if you go back and like you edit your circle of trust, it doesn't do like piecewise. It doesn't do like what you call piecewise updates. It does like when you update your SOT, it deletes your entire SOT and then recreates it using what you gave as the input. And then from that logic, it's like, well, I need to make sure I'm following each and every person I add to it. So you could end up following them after the user gets in the app if you go and make further updates to your circle of trust. Because the thing, you add somebody to your circle of trust, even though you don't say you follow them, you do follow them.
Yeah, no, I know. So then the other option is we just go with a different flow. Like, I mean, I'm not really, I'm drawing a blank on like what we would say. It's not, if not add as friend. Because like next doesn't really.
What do you guys? I jumped in the middle of it. I was kind of curious.
It's all right. I don't want to have to start over.
Rehash it. No worries.
I have the new number, by the way.
Okay, Danny, Todd, let's get this going. So, are you ready?
Yeah, you got the new number, Todd?
I do. You guys want it?
Yes.
All right. It's you ready?
What's the last four digits, real quick?
8018.
Okay, go ahead.
916 450 or 450 8018.
Got it. Save. No.
Am I going through test flight or through prod?
Prod. So don't do anything yet.
But wait, let me add some of these. Yeah. Will you text me your number, Danny?
Yeah.
I just want to sync it now, so should grab it now. It's not finding it. Why not? Oh. Why is it not finding it? Oh, it's so frustrating. It's in my contacts, but it's not finding it in the circles, even though I'm on the edit SOT screen, straight screen. Perhaps I need to force close the app. Let's try that. I don't know why it's not finding that contact that I just added. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. I don't know. Oh well, that's
Yeah, I could sync, right? Maybe searching the people screen.
yeah. I tried both. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't know. So,
All right.
maybe it's
Oh,
there.
mine came in. Okay.
You see it.
Good deal. I found it, and then there's the option to invite the person to join.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not showing up in mine. Okay. Well, that's not helpful. But you guys can do it. Let's make sure you're recording everything.
Should I come in through a link of any kind?
I'm gonna send you an invite.
He's gonna invite you, but make sure you record before you tap on anything.
Got it.
All right. So go ahead, Danny. You can follow the same steps, right? You remember what to do?
Yeah, she added to the SOT.
Mm-hmm. Well, so yeah, when you invite, it will happen. Where am I? When are you getting home, Jerry?